Thank you for joining us at the Blackstone LaunchPad Annual Student Entrepreneur Pitch Competition at Startup Grind's Global Conference. We are happy to have you here and so glad to offer you the chance to learn about some of the tremendous student entrepreneurs from our 30 LaunchPad network schools. I am Marcus Felder, a Vice President on Blackstone's Portfolio Operations team. I oversee Career Pathways, a new pilot program designed to send their students around the US and the world with an aim of fostering an interest in entrepreneurship, cultivating entrepreneurial skills, and providing access to resources, networks, and opportunities otherwise not available. Today, we have 30 schools in this network, making the benefits of the LaunchPad network accessible to 900,000 students annually. Recently, the Blackstone Charitable Foundation announced a gift of $40 million to expand this network from 30 to 75 campuses over the next 5 years, with a focus on college university campuses with majority diverse populations or those that are serving under-resourced communities. Along with new expanded recruiting and hiring practices, career pathways, and our LaunchPad expansion, we aim to increase diversity across the Blackstone network, within the firm, across our portfolio, and within our local communities. One of the signature programs of the LaunchPad network is an annual conference and pitch competition. While the pandemic has affected how we conduct this competition, we are proud to be partnered with Startup Grind this year to give our student founders even broader exposure. Today, we will hear from 8 student teams pursuing a wide range of entrepreneurial ideas. The 8 finalists represent 8 different schools and range in industry, size, and geography, from a Texas nonprofit pairing students with seniors, to a New York-based AR startup, to improving operating room usage, and a tea manufacturer utilizing Florida-native Yaupon holly. Over the course of the next hour, we'll watch these students' pre-recorded pitch videos and then move on to a quick Q&A with our 3 illustrious judges. The winners will be announced Thursday, February 25th at 11:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the main stage. At this point, I'd like to bring on our
companies as well. Over the last 10 years or so, I spent time on the corporate development side, most recently at Amazon Web Services, and before that at Microsoft. Earlier in my career, I spent some time in investment banking and private equity, so it's fun to come full circle and get back to the investing side, especially as we think about empowering tech companies around the world and helping them scale through Blackstone.
Hi, everyone. I'm David Cohen. Really excited to be here again, back at the Blackstone LaunchPad. I am one of the co-founders and chairman at Techstars, which is the worldwide network that helps entrepreneurs succeed. We have funded about 2,300 startups through our accelerator platform, and so far found about 15 unicorns. So looking forward to finding another 1 or 2 here today.
Thank you so much to all 3 of you for joining us and sharing your insight and experience in hearing entrepreneurs pitch their ideas. Now, without further ado, let's get going and bring on our first LaunchPad pitch competition finalist to hear her pitch. Aditi Merchant from the University of Texas at Austin is the co-founder and COO of Big and Mini.
Hi, I'm Aditi, and I'm the co-founder of Big and Mini, a company that creates meaningful, one-on-one connections between young and older adults. Imagine a world where a 71-year-old woman named Carol, who's just lost her family, moves into a nursing home and has nobody to talk to. Now, picture an 18-year-old college freshman, Avery, who came to campus and has struggled to find her place. Both have a similar feeling, loneliness. Now, this isn't hard for organizations, a monthly subscription SaaS platform. In addition to providing engagement metrics and all the standard Big and Mini features, we provide a streamlined call experience, facilitate group activities, and more. To date, we have over 30 paying organizations, including the University of Michigan and Brookdale. We're also working with insurance providers like Humana to make Big and Mini covered benefit under Medicare Advantage. This will not only increase our visibility, but provide millions with access to the connections we provide. Big and Mini is how we brought together Carol and Avery, a Big and Mini match. They've been meeting weekly for the last 9 months, bonding over everything from recipes to Shakespeare. But there's hundreds of more stories like this. Since our founding in April, we've had over 2,500 active users, made over 1,000 matches from all 50 states, and achieved 16% weekly growth. We've also been featured in over 40 media outlets, including the Today Show. The funds from today's pitch will allow us to develop our ambassador program at colleges across the US, contribute to the development of a more accessible Big and Mini mobile app, and fund research to solidify Big and Mini as a benefit. Join us in ending loneliness, one Big and Mini match at a time. Thanks.
Awesome. Welcome, Aditi, and congrats on making it to the final round of this pitch competition. At this point, we'll immediately turn over to our panel of judges to hear their questions for the next 3 minutes.
We're all going to jump in at the same time, Aditi. That's how this is going to work. I'd love to hear a little bit about the sort of two sides of the marketplace, if you will. You've got the bigs and the minis. They're pretty different. For the bigs, are there problems getting them to adopt the technology? And for the minis, is it cool to do this?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. So on the side of the bigs, one of the big key components that we've taken in our platform is making sure that the platform is accessible to people of all ages. So that includes doing things like making our own video call platform. So you click a link in the dashboard and it automatically pops up in browser and you click access. That's something that they can only get on the platform. So the way that looks like is on the platform itself, before every weekly call, we'll send out like a group of questions that they can talk about and reminders of what they talked about on the last conversation. We'll have basically like almost like a Facebook wall where bigs and minis can share their stories, their experiences, as well as just incorporating a lot of features that they could access outside the platform. So we actually do have chat integrated into the platform itself. The video calls are really simple to use and much more easy than like Zoom. And then we try to make it sure that like any other avenue of connection that they would want to use is there through the Big and Mini platform. So it's a really one-stop shop for everything that they would want.
For me, just going to give you some more time on the intergenerational piece. I think it's really, really important to have those connections as a society, but things like COVID have really robbed us in some cases of all that knowledge. So tell me about the importance to you in these connections.
Yeah, of course. So actually in my high school, when I was in high school, I had just a really great opportunity where I was going and I played flute at senior living communities. And I remember connecting with some of the residents there. And a large part of the reason that I went into like social impact and entrepreneurship is because some of those conversations that they had and just recognizing the impact that intergenerational relationships had on me when COVID hit and we kind of came up with the idea, it really reminded me of my time kind of working in these communities and just the value I had personally gained, and I wanted to bring that.
Resources that have been assigned to them by their provider. Our business model is twofold. Clinicians pay us a monthly subscription fee for access to the platform. We ultimately intend to integrate with healthcare insurers who are looking to expand access to pediatric behavioral healthcare services. Having launched 2 weeks ago, we currently have over 1,000 active clinician users on the platform and are in discussions with multiple children's hospitals. Before business school at Cornell, I worked at a children's hospital in Buffalo where I was involved in coordinating and managing NIH-funded clinical trials in the pediatric behavioral healthcare space.
Wow, really impressive stuff. That was terrific, Marla. Great job on your pitch and welcome to the LaunchPad competition finals. Judges.
With pediatric behavioral health clinicians working across private practice, group practice, and hospital systems to learn about the current intervention toolkit that they traditionally used. And what we learned is that currently providers are using paper-based worksheets or handouts primarily to engage their patients out of the office or verbally describing exercises and interventions. If they are using technology-enabled tools, they're not able to meaningfully track the data across appointments and see what is resonating with their patients. And a lot of the solutions on the market are point solutions. So one specific meditation app or one cognitive behavioral therapy app for a very specific age range. And so through speaking to so many providers, we were able to source a wide number of interventions across condition types, age ranges, and consolidate that into one centralized content library that providers are able to select and choose from to plug and play interventions for their specific patient population, rather than having to access point solutions across the market, which make it very difficult for these clinicians given that they have such limited time.
Marla, love what you're doing. One thing I'd like to understand, the 1,000 clinicians that jumped on it right away. What's the go-to-market strategy? It sounds like it's going well, but how do you get this into the market from your perspective?
Yeah, definitely. So initially, we connected with a clinician influencer who runs a Facebook group of over 30,000 clinicians. We brought her on our team, and she helped refine our messaging strategy in order to communicate with these clinicians. From there, we had multiple other pediatric behavioral health clinician influencers reach out to us and ask if they could also help promote hopscotch. And so initially, we're working with these clinicians to
witness this firsthand. I have seen that healthcare facilities have access to a large wealth of data, which should be leveraged to improve operating logistics. Apollo is a cloud-based AI platform which learns from a wide range of healthcare data to optimize high revenue items, ensuring better utilization of fixed assets to unlock the operating room's latent potential. Our preliminary AI performance results indicate approximately $300 in savings per surgery as compared to industry standard forecasting methods. This is approximately $14.4 billion in savings potential alone. Surgery centers will feel confident thanks to a monthly subscription, risk-sharing revenue model, wherein Apollo takes a percentage of the cost savings, reducing pressure to spend in an industry where margins are tight and sales cycles are historically variable. Our scalable platform creates a new market for surgical scheduling time slots, giving health insurance companies the opportunity to dispatch patients from expensive healthcare facilities to high-quality, low-cost facilities. With the support of investment partners such as Blackstone and Techstars, we can also advance the cash flow cycle between providers and payers, thus disrupting the working capital model and increasing their profitability. We are in talks for a pilot this year at the largest healthcare system in Western New York. Our team of machine learning, software engineering, and sales and marketing experts are ready to help the healthcare facilities reduce inefficiency, increase cash flow velocity, and provide working management solutions. Invest in Apollo today and see how better forecasts lead to better ops. Thank you.
Great. And responding to questions from our judges for this finalist, Ryan is joined by his teammate, Anders Rosen. Welcome to both of you. Once again, now we'll move immediately on to our judging panel Q&A.
Ryan, first of all, very smart to completely change your hair between this now and then. So you might full attention. I'm like, wow.
This is the barber.
Great job. Without sharing too much special sauce, tell me a little bit about the AI component of your platform, kind of where these data sets are coming from and what you're kind of learning from the results.
Yeah, so we're pulling data actually from the EMR system itself. The idea is that we're still in between whether we want to use a deep neural network, which is what my original design was, versus a machine learning like a XGBoost, something like that. But most important thing is really the pilot at the facility to then really solidify what exactly will be the design moving forward.
I'll let the other judges go, but I count myself. Machine learning gets you to market faster. Neural network long term will give you differentiated results, but I'll let you guys.
Maybe adding to Brian's question, a lot of times, or large kind of machine learning models tend to get more accurate over time based on the amount of training data you have access to. And so you had mentioned taking data directly from the EMRs. What do you think would kind of prevent other hospitals, clinicians, or even EMR providers themselves from accessing the same amount of data, largely than being able to replicate what you've done?
So that actually takes into account our overall business model. The idea is that by making these facilities more efficient, it's going to free up additional time slots. We're going to couple that with what's called the Apollo Exchange, with the idea is that, hey, now healthcare facilities, you can now offer those additional time slots to the health insurance companies. To date, C-suite at Anthem is aware of what we're working on, as well as we've already been engaging with one of the directors of emerging technology at Humana as well, with the idea that we're going to help also drive these facilities revenue growth. And an EMR company, they're only going to be able to see the customers that they actually have. We're actually have that much more broader sense.
So just following on that, I mean, maybe it's a bit of an old school mindset, but I always thought of a hospital as
Thoughtful responses, judges. Thank you for your great question. Ryan and Anders, good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again for the platform. It's Techstars has provided. Thank you.
For our fourth team, we'll be hearing from Achala Rao, co-founder of Fixed Systems, a startup from UC Davis.
Have you ever bought a fish tank, put some really nice fish in it, and then had to leave for a trip?
I have, and when I came back, I found all my pretty fish dead in a tank full of algae. Now, this happened because the conditions of the tank weren't monitored closely. And much like a fish tank, a bioreactor is a vessel that's used to grow living things like your COVID vaccine and beer, which collectively makes up the biomanufacturing industry. Bioreactors are critical equipment, and when they aren't monitored closely, everything inside dies. Today, outdated monitoring causes a $14 billion annual loss of life-saving medication. But the current industry solution is to just bring on-call workers to check these monitors. Even yet, 20% of all bioreactor runs fail. My name is Achala Rao, and I'm the CSO of Fixed, the company that will disrupt this 200
Minutes for questions begin now.
So I thought we were going to help the fish when we started, but I'm glad it's much bigger than that. My fish needs some help, by the way. Anyway, the hardware component you said was the sort of smaller piece of the pie, so to speak, long term. Have you thought about that being done by a third party? Because it's going to be an expensive aspect of what you do, especially on a smaller round, $750,000. Is that something you have to build, and how do you see that evolving over time?
Great question. I think Evan is very equipped to handle this.
Yes. So our first thing is, so one of the really annoying issues about getting software to be part of the biomanufacturing industry is the fact that currently there aren't really good devices for that software to run on. So we sort of have to bootstrap ourselves. But in the future, yes, 100% we would partner with existing hardware manufacturers. But for the first part, we can't quite do that. And to solve that, we're just using very off-the-shelf components, making it completely cheaply, and ultimately the price of producing hardware is a lot lower than we expect to make from software anyways, so it's not too big of an issue.
As you begin scaling your business, I imagine the processes as it relates to various vaccines.
It's a pretty big chunk of the market. It's not small potatoes, and we would be able to handle that with our device. And then with the biological forecasting, we can go in, find patterns in the data, and solve problems our users didn't even know existed.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Achala and Evan, and good luck to you. We are halfway through our 8 finalists. How's everybody feeling? I know these Zoom meetings can wear you down a little bit. If you're watching and needing a break, maybe try standing up, shaking it off. And get ready, because we're not stopping here. We're going to keep on moving forward. And so next up, we're going to have Shemi Cole and Jake Tibby, UC Riverside students, pitching their AI-based startup, Saru Recycling.
Hi. My name is Shemi Cole, and I'm joined by Jacob Tivy. And today we'd like to introduce Saru Recycling, a clean tech startup that builds autonomous, solar-powered units that reinvent the way we think about our waste. The global waste management industry is currently experiencing a crisis. Every year we produce 500 million tons of
handling waste responsibly has never been more relevant. The smart waste management industry is growing fast, with a compound annual growth rate of nearly 17%. As a first mover to combine the benefits of recycling with utilities, we can enter the industry at venues ranging from cities and college campuses to amusement parks and restaurants. Our traction thus far has also been promising, as we've secured corporate sponsorships from solar companies and manufacturers alike. Our team has also been sponsored by local endorsements and will be on the ground in California later this month. Our team believes in the power of fighting climate change through optimized waste management. By changing the way individuals and firms relate to their waste, we aim to reimagine recycling for the modern world.
Shemi and Jake, watching your pitch video, looking at the weather in the background, I'm sure a lot of us can use some of that warmth around the country. Regardless, great job and congrats on reaching the finals. Judges, I'll turn over to you. Your 3 minutes of questions begin now.
I'm going to leave with the AI stuff again. Counting myself. I have a question about the machine learning or the AI around identifying the item. Are you building that? Are you purchasing that to start? And what is because there's so many different item types, right? So how do you kind of get all of those things into the model?
Well, Brian, that's an excellent question. We've actually been developing our own model in-house, and we've been achieving some great accuracy numbers. We initially started aluminum cans, your plastic bottles, and waste, right? And what we have right now is a model that has substantial accuracy ratings with only the ability to iterate at scale. What we're doing is put something in our unit, we take a picture, and that is also self-uploaded into the machine learning model that we're developing. So the more questions we get, the more images that we have to process, the more accurate it becomes.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So there's a lot of technology crammed into this local device. And I'd love to hear a little bit of the data you've collected on the desire to actually have this technology. It's pretty different than the way the industry works today. So what data do you have from people that actually want to adopt this whole new way of doing it?
Absolutely. So one of the first things we did was specifically survey folks on our own campus community, right? Because originally SARA was built for college students, being able to give them an opportunity to one, impact the environment, but also make a little change on the side. But obviously our vision has grown, and within those initial surveys, we were able to discover how students want to be able to utilize our device in terms of the earnings from being able to dispose recyclable material into the bin, right? And one of the most valuable things that we learned is that folks are really interested in being able to use their earnings for, charitable causes, right? So being able to get those 5 cents, 10 cents, even 15 cents, and being able to donate it to local charities in the area. We've also started the conversation about potentially connecting to micro investing platforms. So being able to even build like a financial portfolio, as you're putting recyclable material into a bin, right? So just trying to, generate value in terms of inspiring folks to connect with, environmental action.
How about kind of the end customer in that, the person who might be paying for that? I think a lot of what you've shared is actually really interesting from, folks like you and me who might use it. But if it were a waste management company or potentially the college campus paying for your equipment, how do you then think about their willingness to pay?
That's an excellent question, Christine. What we've done is we've made a model where we are servicing the members of a community, but our primary customer is, of course, the firm. It's the campus, it's wherever the unit is located. They're our host. We lease the unit to them.
And their revenue. Hi, I'm Max Orozco. I'm CEO of Lumium. I'm a neuroscience researcher who uses MRI techniques in pediatrics. Our team of engineers and designers have over 20 years experience in healthcare innovation at companies like Genentech. And our first product, Ready Teddy, is not only making easier MRIs for kids by preparing them for the scan, but informing clinicians which patients can successfully avoid sedation. We are already in Stanford Children's Hospital and Children's Hospital Los Angeles and have customers at the USC Keck School of Medicine. Our data suggests that we can reduce sedation rates by 40%. That's 400,000 kids successfully avoiding sedation a year. This not only improves the patient experience at the hospitals that we partner with, but this equates to $600 million in healthcare expenditures in an already $100 billion imaging marketplace. And our timing could not be better. The FDA is approving new types of interventions that are completely changing the way that we think of healthcare delivery. But the goal of our company is changing finite medical services into scalable and billable products. Hospitals, and each one has about 3 or 4 different MRIs in them. So we've really positioned the product to be positioned next to the MRI, so it's really easy to implement. We're charging $500 per unit. And so that's kind of our initial target market. What goes inside the scanner, and the form factor is actually really important. It's a VR headset. They're exposed to the sights and sounds of the scanner, but because the VR headset measures head motion perfectly, we're using these biofeedback games to train children to stay still and within the threshold of a good scan. So not only is it alleviating their anxiety and fear, but we're kind of ensuring that they have good data for their doctors.
Do you have access from those hospitals once these children have used your device to measure or at least have a notion of how effective they are? And I'm wondering not only how effective, but also can you use that to then complete the feedback loop to then further train your model?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have a data sharing clause and we're submitting our IRB at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We're also working with neuroimaging labs who can't sedate kids for their studies, who are much more likely to sign data sharing agreements. And then the algorithm is based on age because that's the highest predictor of motion. So our control database is already open data sets through NIH funds. So we're already on our way to building a really effective tool. teaching laboratories who, again, can't sedate kids. These are often researchers, but also clinicians. So they're kind of like a great entryway into the hospital systems. And then we're definitely targeting Kaiser. So clinicians that have dual positions at Kaiser, because they play both payer and provider. So the incentive to not only like reduce the amount of sedations in their hospitals there, but also they increase their throughput and increase overall revenue. And so that payer provider relationship is perfect for Kaiser as we kind of scale.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Max, and thank you, judges. That's all the time we have for this finalist.
Thank you all.
Next up, Colton Pace and Frank DiCenzo, UCLA students developing a tax reduction software solution for property owners.
Hi, I'm Colton.
And I'm Frank.
We're both graduating MBAs from UCLA Anderson, and we are the co-founders of Real Appeal. Real Appeal is an online software that helps property owners reduce their property taxes. In the US, $23 billion is overpaid in property taxes each year. Property owners can appeal their property taxes to get them reduced, but doing so is cumbersome and time-consuming. The process is so broken that over 95% of owners don't do anything and just pay the bill they receive, no questions asked. Real Appeal makes it easier than ever to reduce your property taxes. Property owners can navigate to our website at therealappeal.com and file a tax appeal or exemption in a matter of minutes. There's no upfront cost, and we charge 20% of the savings we achieve. No other provider offers an end-to-end service for both residential and commercial properties at the cost and level of convenience that Real Appeal provides.
We market exclusively to residential and commercial property owners we know we can help save money. To do this, we analyze data across millions of properties and specifically identify the ones that are overvalued for tax purposes or missing valuable exemptions. State markets over the last year. Now more than ever, people are looking for ways to save money. And now more than ever, Real Appeal can give property owners the savings that they deserve.
Thank you, Colton and Frank. That was a great pitch, an interesting idea. Judges, the time for questioning begins now.
I suspect none of us like paying taxes. So you're going to have a lot of fans. Question about really got a really good early traction. How were you able to achieve that really so quickly? And what are the things on the roadmap coming up?
Yeah, so one thing that's been really successful for us, like we mentioned in the pitch, is running our algorithm over the data we can get for an entire county and identifying specific addresses for commercial and residential properties that we know we can help save money because we found that they're overassessed. So what we do is we directly target them with postcards like these, where we tell them exactly how much we're going to save them. And it's a really compelling value proposition for them. Aside from that, anytime we appear in public, we get a huge influx of people that are interested and want to learn more. And we see that come through on our website.
So I think there's an enormous amount of sort of low-hanging fruit here, right? Everyone wants to use the product, of course, but my own personal experience is that I get 3 or 4 of those postcards every year, or letters from lawyers typically. How are you planning to really differentiate? Because ultimately it's really just what percentage savings do I expect to get?
There's a few different things here. And one of the aspects is the psychographic profiling. So we know exactly what behaviors, demographics, socioeconomic situations people are in where they respond most frequently. And also, like I said earlier, these are specifically targeted. So this has
I was actually touching on my question exactly, which is, it seems like where the opportunity might be is large owners of real estate. And so if you then think about, kind of owners of, multiple commercial properties, they probably have their own tax accountants already. And so I'm wondering, have you kind of collected feedback there around willingness of those tax preparers to consume and or pay for a service like this, and or even feedback from the property owners themselves around how amenable they might be to, in addition to having their tax accountant, engaging someone like you?
Yeah, so that's actually my background. Prior to business school, I was an asset manager at a real estate fund. I saw the high value properties being done and thought, why can't we bring this down market? And kind of to David's point earlier, the tax accountants and lawyers can't profitably service the down market. So that's where we're starting. And that's why we're automating from end to end as much as we can, both acquiring the customers, crafting the appeal, and then how we interact with the assessors in each geography. And we currently charge 20%, and we know that our customers are willing to pay 50% as they do lawyers. So we think there's a lot of flexibility we can use in the future.
All right. Thank you so much, Colton and Frank, for your responses, and good luck to you. We are moving on to our last team, our last but by no means least. Our eighth and final team hails from the University of Central Florida. Please enjoy the pitch video of Brian and Kyle White and their startup, the Yopon Brothers American Tea Company.
Hi, I'm Kyle White.
And I'm Brian White.
And we're brothers and founders of the Yopon Brothers American Tea Company. We're a company that's working to revolutionize the tea industry while putting Florida farmers back to work. But first, I want to start with a statistic. Did you know that over 150 million Americans drink tea every day, but virtually none of them drink tea that's grown in the US?
Yes, and we're going to change that with Yopon Holly. Yopon Holly is a Florida native plant species that tastes great, has been used as a tea for thousands of years.
And made products. Only our tea, which is Yopon, can check all of these boxes. We've also gained a lot of traction in our years in business, as we've done over $380,000 in revenue this year alone. We're in 500 stores nationwide, and we've had thousands of orders on Amazon and our website. We're also nationwide at all World Market stores. Our products also been featured in Bon Appetit, NPR, and Atlas Obscura magazines.
So you know we can sell the tea, but is there a viable supply chain? Yes, there is. We have a partnership with a state-of-the-art propagation lab that can help put 400,000 of our trees in the ground every month out to farmers. We also have a research partnership with the University of Florida that is helping to establish Yopon's commercial viability. Yopon offers similar economics to traditional crops here, such as citrus, which has been totally decimated by the citrus greening disease. And we have the absolute best team to make this happen. We're a passionate group of entrepreneurs with experience in plant propagation, farming, finance, and sales and marketing, and we're here to make Yopon a household name.
At the end of the day, we're just a family-owned business that is saving Florida farming through sustainable and native agriculture. We're hoping you'll help us not just build a business here in the state of Florida, but a whole new industry.
Brian and Kyle, it looks like you guys have made some really impressive progress. I'm a new tea drinker, so I definitely have to give this a try. Okay. Congrats on getting this far with both your business and in our LaunchPad pitch competition. Judges, you're on for the final time. Q&A begins now.
So UCF represent, first of all.
Go Knights.
You said it tastes great. I got to take your word for it. What data do you have that it tastes great? Talk to me about, second, third orders, renewals. Talk to me about, subjective testing you've done around the taste.
Well, first of all, from our website, about 40% of our online orders are repeat customers. On top of that, there was actually a blind taste test study that was performed by the University of Florida. Had about 100 participants that are regular yerba mate drinkers. Yerba mate is related to Yopon Holly.
So oftentimes in different liquors, where it comes from seems to matter in that category. And it should be true here as well. So how are you thinking about this storytelling? I see you guys have awesome teas on. I love good merch, but how are you thinking about telling this story to get that consumer thinking about American tea?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think that we really do consider it to be a heritage product. There's 8,000 years of human consumption history here in the United States. Most of that comes from indigenous people. And we've worked really hard to try and encapsulate that message so that people can actually get it. So that's why we branded it as an American tea, because I really feel like that's a claim that other tea companies cannot make. Like 99.9% of the tea that we drink here, which is 250,000 tons a year, is imported.
Yeah. And because we're completely verticalized, we know where every leaf of tea came from. So we were able to kind of trace back everything. And we actually partnered with a company called DigiFresh that had used the QR code to help us do that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right. And that's it. Just for their time and effort, our incredible judges for their thought-provoking questions, and all of you for choosing to attend this session at the Startup Grind Global Conference. I hope you are leaving this hour as excited as I am about these incredible students and the important work of the Blackstone LaunchPad College Entrepreneurial Network. And don't forget, winners, including the People's Choice Award, will be announced Thursday, February 25th at 11:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the main stage. We'll see you there.